This area carries a lot of history.
Seriously.
A lot of history.
Seriously, because every junction or every street or even every house has a history behind it.
All of the stories that we know about the history of this country can never be told without the stories of the indigenous Ga people, the Gamashie people, who are made up of the people of Usher Town and then the Jamestown. This week's edition of People and Places gives you a hint of the story of the Gans. And one of the integral parts of the Ga people is their traditional chief, or the people we know as the Wulomei. Today we speak with one of them, Numo Blafo III, who takes us around his community and gives us a hint about all that makes up the Ga people. And of course, to help us reshape some of the misconceptions that people have about the traditional priests. Welcome to this week's edition of People and Places here on Ghanaweb TV with me, Etsey Atisu. The story begins right after this.
As I was saying, that place is called Sakumo We, where we have the Sakumo shrine. But I said that an ancestor of mine, who is Numo, he brought it. So before the shrine itself was located at the Blafo We, that is where my shrine is.
The name of the place is?
Eventually we will go.
The name of the shrine, Blafo We.
The shrine itself is Blafo. Blafo shrine.
Okay. What does the Blafo actually mean? Because I know you are Numo Blafo.
Yeah, I'm the Wulomors for the Blafo deity. But we'll come to that. Let me finish with this Sakumo.
Okay.
So at the point, they said the one person who went to settle at where we now call Etsey, the name is Etsey. And he felt that, he needed some strong deities support him in his endeavors. So he had to remove the Kole shrine and then the Sakumo shrine where they are currently. So the Sakumo shrine is located where we have the trees ahead of us.
Okay.
And Kole is somewhere around the Osha Port.
All right.
So as it is, I go there, and normally when the Sakumo room is incapacitated or maybe is busy, I do perform most of the rites there. Now when you come to Blafo, Blafo itself is not a Ga deity.
Okay.
It's a deity that was actually brought by the Apamus, because then they wanted a place to settle within the town. I will show you that they are settled here. So they said, okay, they gave the Blafo to the Gans as a surety for good behavior. Because we had some problems. This is one of my elders and Sakumo.
Okay.
So, we've had these Ga wars in the 17th century.
Yes.
Why the Gans had to leave where they were originally at Ayawasu to come and settle here.
Okay.
So when they came and they wanted also to trade with the whites directly, therefore they needed a place to settle. They had to give assurance that if we give them a place, they will not accept our authority, and then we go into that kind of war So they gave the Blafo to the Ghana as a surety of good behavior, which I am the wulomei.
Okay.
Currently.
That's an interesting history there. So it was actually a gift from the Akwamus to the Gan people.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Currently, it is the Blafo that celebrates the Yam Festival to open the way for all other shrines or for all other rites to be performed within the Ga.
This area carries a lot of history.
Seriously.
A lot of history.
Seriously, because every junction or every street or even every house has a history behind it. Every house has a history behind it. He's one of our friends here.
Oh, okay. Boza. Ade was. You're telling us about the history about this place, and that's something that I know, like you're mentioning, streets and then more or less communities. Tell us how is it that this area came to be known like that? Because it's more or less like, and this is such a densely populated area.
Yeah. You see, every Ga has a family house within this Gamashie area. And Gamashie, when we're talking about Gamashie, comprises of Jamestown, Lacey,
Okay.
Alata, and then we have Osha Town, Kenka. Now, there's a road where you parked.
Yes.
That's the Banaman Road. It's what divides the Osha Town and then Jamestown.
Okay.
But people refer to the whole area as Jamestown. And why is it called Jamestown and Osha Town? Because we have the Osha Fort just here.
Right at the coast. Yes.
And then we have the James Fort here. So you see the community took that name from the fort.
Oh.
James Fort, Osha Fort. So we have Jamestown and Osha Town.
Okay.
But then Jamestown comprises of Sempe, and then Akumade. Those are the three divisions in the Jamestown area. And then the Osha Town we have Asere, Otublohun, Abola, and Etsey. So we have 7 divisions within the Gamashie area.
So divisions 7. But how many towns make up the whole Gamashie area?
For that one, you can't tell because you can move from just a step and then you are in another area.
Yes, that's the intriguing thing about this area.
How you tend to transit from one into the other. Because, for example, this is Sakumo We, but then where the tree is also has another name. In fact, you might cross the street to this side, and this house also has another name for itself. So it is just that interwoven of families and people. Therefore, here we don't say somebody is an alien, but if you're an alien, we will know. Because everybody knows.
Like myself.
Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other. Even the moment you mention your name, they know the house. And people can tell, is this your father or your grandfather? Then you have to mention.
Interesting history. Very interesting history.
Because if you are coming from where we are coming from,
yes,
that area is a Asere block. That area is a Asere block. But then from the Asere block, when you come to in fact within the Asere area, we have different communities coming together to form the Asere. That is the Potters. You see, then from there, then you come to Bukum.
Okay, this is Bukum.
Yeah.
What we see there.
Yeah. Bukum.
This is Sakumo We. And then this is Benimochana. You see, where the tree is. Then immediately lies on the left side. Oh no, across the road.
Okay.
And in fact, that is how it is. And then you go to a woman.
Okay.
Then Salaba is on the left. So you don't actually see, but you have my in between here and Salaba.
Wonderful. So from here we are going to. Is it this is where we are coming to? Oh, this is the Sakumo We.
This is where we are coming.
Wonderful. So this is where we would see you do the...
Then from here we go to my place. That's the Blafo We.
Okay.
Otukonor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Where I am Abola.
Wonderful. Let's go into that then.
And then this is one of our, this is Nene Chako.
Okay.
But he is a Wulomors from Pampram.
Oh, okay.
But his uncle is the Sakumo We. So he assists him in everything that he does.
When you mention Pram, the Gans are originally from this area, but there are other Gans, or like the Ga-Adangbe is from other parts of the region, like the Pram area. What is the history between these areas, especially from the Gamashie area, and then the other parts of the Greater Accra region, the other Gans that are spread across the region?
You know, we are one people. It's only the language,
okay,
the name. But then, if you recall, the Gan community itself has been a fishing community. The farming is actually towards the forest, but then the occupation here is fishing. So you know, during the fishing bumper harvest and things, in fact, the fishermen do pursue the fish, and then wherever they get to, they settle there small to do their fishing activities, which we call Prelude. So you might find some of Ga names in many communities along the coast, but we and the Dangmes are one. We are one people. It isn't that they migrated from here to where they are. They are also a distinct group of the Ga people.
So it's just a language that more or less separates you.
Just that's the difference.
Is it the same thing that applies to like the Akan clan, where we have the Fantis, we have the Ikrapims, we have the Ashantis,
those the Bronze, and
yes,
they are all Akan.
Yes, they are all Akan.
But the language is distinct from each other.
Okay.
So that was distinguishes one group from the other.
Interesting. This is still the people aspect of People and Places here on Ghanaweb TV. We are still with Numo Blafo III, who's one of the Wulomors here in the Gamashie area. After learning a little history about the Ga people and going to the shrine to see some of the rituals that they partook in, we're going into the next phase of this edition, where we'll get to Numo's area in particular to learn even more. Come along with us.
This place like this, we have a shrine there. It's for the Sempe people. You understand? And it was during that time the Sempe people also wanted a place to stay. along, with the Ga people. So that was when they also came to meet the Gamashie that look, today is today. You have to tell us what you will tell us, either you are giving us or you are not giving us. So we have to tell them that, okay, we are in a war, and it's like the war is getting on us. So what do you have to help us? So they came to place their deity here, and this was where we were able from here to repel the invaders back. So this place became known as Tafo.
Eventually it became
Tafo.
All right. How are the shrines distributed in this area? Because we're just from one. You mentioned another one here.
Oh, there are many even you haven't seen, because they are in houses. We have, I mentioned Otukonor.
Yes.
It's also just here, one of the houses here. And then this place is called Mankata We. Mankata, that's the Asafuache for the Gamashie. So he's one of the elders in the house. Atamba Manye. Will be in the Ghanaweb. One faith documentary for a Gamashie. Oh, you are though. So
we're going to a place now.
Manye. And so we are going to my place, and then this is Otukonor.
So these are names of family houses?
Family houses and shrine houses.
Okay.
Some of the houses are, though they are family houses, they had this, how do we call it? They have the deities or the shrines there. But there are certain family houses too that don't have something like that. But they might have it somewhere else.
Okay.
Right. But every Ga person has a family house in this Gamashie area. So now this is Abola, across the road.
The typical Gankenke is being prepared.
Yeah.
Nearly at every corner.
Every place, every street, and there's one thing to, when there's a funeral somewhere, I need not pass there, but I think they've not brought the corpse yet, so we can use the back of the canopy.
Okay.
So that's the Abola Mantse Palace, where you have the two posts standing.
Yes.
And that's Abola Mantse Palace. And then, the Gamashie is supposed to come from within Abola. So this whole area is the Abola enclave.
So this is where the Gamashies are selected?
Yes. There are 4 houses are all within this enclave. It's a square or a block, I would say. So that's where they are selected. Their houses are there. So they should come from one of those 4 houses. Yeah. So from Abola, then we move to Otublohun. But on the right here is called Jano Choshi. I don't know why they had that name. But when we mention Jano, it's like a market. So there was a big tree here. I don't know why they've cut it.
The tree's been felled?
It has been felled. Okay. And even the Otublohun people too have some trees there. They've also taken them.
Was that not to make way for buildings or?
But what's the need for concrete when it doesn't give you the needed health, shade and health that you require? Because this zinc and things, concrete will not give you the oxygen you needed. You understand? You see, it will not give you. But then that's what it has become. So this is Otublohun. So the Blafo was taken from them as a sign of surety, so that they will not misbehave. So where the tree is Lante Djan We. Lante Djan We. They will be celebrating their Homowo next Saturday. That is tomorrow's week. So when they celebrate, then 2 weeks later, the whole of Gamashie will also celebrate their Homowo.
Okay. Numo, you seem to be like a very popular person in this area. And it looks like it's from, I wonder, is it just from what you do now, or why does it seem like a lot of people warm up to you so much like that?
Well, I can't tell, but all I can say is that, you know, I was born here.
Okay.
I was bred here.
Okay, so this
only I didn't grow up here.
Okay.
Yeah. But then after becoming a Wulomo, it's like I've been able to, mingle with anybody and everybody. I don't say, oh, maybe I'm bigger than you, or you are not my type, or you are not my class, but anybody who comes to me, I receive the person. Okay. So that's how come maybe.
And that also brings me to the question about the dual role you play. You are a Wulomo. Is it Wulomo?
Wulomo.
Wulomo.
Yeah.
And then you are also one of the elite people who have been able to help demystify the whole perception about the role of traditional priests. How has that been for you? The work between what you do traditionally and then in the corporate world?
It comes naturally. It comes naturally because I was skeptical when I wanted to enter into education. But immediately I entered and I was able to, you know, mingle with everybody and anybody. As it were, I realized that I don't see, most of the time, I don't see the transition. Because imagining me coming to do what I have to do, then immediately the next point I'm in the office. So I don't normally see, but I add everything, whatever I know, to what I do at any point in time. Because, for example, if I'm in the office, you know, when I was at the AMA, we normally interact with chiefs and things. So you can see me leading most of those interactions, and they tend to have so much trust in me more than they dealing with people wearing suits and all that, you know.
Because they can relate with you as one of theirs.
As one of theirs, and that they know I will not, how do I call it, undermine their authority, because I understand who they are and what they represent. So anytime I'm dealing with them, I place them in that context. Therefore, there is that synergy that I'm able to create between the tradition and then the corporate world.
You speak of the positives, but are there challenges or any drawbacks that you've experienced from this dual?
Oh yes, many times. But I always look at it as what can I improve, or what can I do to improve or enhance that perception so that it will not arise again.
Is there any of those instances, anyone that is so profound that you remember, you can share with us anytime at all? Because we know you are.
In fact, even today,
okay,
when we entered the house, somebody was just mentioning that when we go and do it and we get money, we should come and give them some. So I was explaining to him that when someone is taking his time to project you, do you expect money from that person? So these are some of the negatives that always sometimes I encounter when I want to do such, documentaries as we are doing. This is not the first time. There was a time when we went there with, I think Metro TV, no, Joy News, and there was a whole lot of issues. So I had to just take them out from the house and then bring them. We sat here along the road. I think it was a Homowo day, a Saturday before we came to my house. You know, when I'm doing this, I don't want to do it just focusing on myself.
Yes.
Because I live within the context of others. So if you don't see those others, how would you even see me? That's the way I think about it.
Okay. All right.
But all the same, we have our old palace, that's the Asere Mantse palace, just here. So this story building. So maybe from my house we will go there. That's where I was confined when I was actually in school.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is Kpakpatse We, and this they are the Wulomors. Guakwe, Numo Blafo Ba.
There are a lot of Wulomors in this area?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. A lot. Even if all have been installed, we will be so many. So many. I can't tell the number.
Hundreds?
No. It will not get to 100. Okay. At least it will get to about 20 or even 30. Okay. If all the houses that are supposed to have installed the Wulomors. Because Lante Djan We, for example, is supposed to have a Wulomor, but they don't have it yet. Okay. There is another one just across the road there. That is Akrama, but they don't have. If you go inside there, there is another one there. There are so many
that don't actually have.
They don't have the Wulomor at the moment. Yeah. Bole, Ghanaweb no one feno kopio. He is Numo Blafo Akotia. Okay. The second, Numo Blafo Akotia the second. He is the Wulomor. Okay. Yes. And this is where he was installed. Okay. Yeah. Kpakpatse We.
Kpakpatse We.
Yeah. They actually have the quarters and Kote Papa Few and all those names. Okay.
There's also the thing about why you cover your head. Why do the Wulomors cover up? Never showing their hair all the time, always in white, always barefoot. What's with the head?
About the hair, actually, I don't have an immediate explanation because I've asked and nobody had given me any concrete reasons for covering the hair. It's something that has come to stay. Actually, it's like the crown because you are a chief at the same time you are a priest. Okay. A chief priest. You understand? Because before it's believed or it's said that the Wulomor is the leader, is the chief, is the judge. Okay. You understand? Is the priest,
the chief,
and the judge. The chief in the same way as the leader, so chief stroke leader, and then he is the same time the judge. Before we gave the leadership position to the chiefs.
Okay. Then you handle the other aspects.
The spiritual side of the lives of the people or the community. So being barefooted is just making sure that you're always in contact with Mother Earth. Okay. Yes. Okay. That is why, and even before, the Wulomor do not actually go out so much. Most of the time, you only find him at the battery or the shrine house. He doesn't go out. Okay. It's just these days that you can see a Wulomor so much outside. But before, you don't see them outside at all. And even if he's going somewhere, he leaves very early. And by sunrise is where he's supposed to be. Okay. You understand?